So, Arceus versus Odin. Can't really say this is a bad matchup, but it's definitely a very quick one. And honestly, this is pretty much it's more about the tier when it comes to these kind of characters. Now, multiversal characters are not complicated and not complex. But here's the thing, they each sit on a hierarchy. Whoever's at the top of that hierarchy is the most powerful. For example, Odin and Galactus sit on different hierarchies, alright? Odin is actually below Galactus, believe it or not, because Odin isn't on par with Celestials when Galactus is. You can even say Galactus is superior to Celestials. And the thing is, Odin and Zeus sit next to each other on that hierarchy. With, again, you could say, oh, well, didn't Zeus one-shot Galactus during the Chaos War event, Legendary? Yes, he did, but this is Chaos War Zeus. This is when Chaos King pretty much amplified these gods to the point where they're pretty much his unstoppable army. And they needed Chaos War Hercules in order to kill him. Meaning that he needed a stronger, Hercules needed to elevate himself beyond Skyfather levels in order to get this, hierarchy here. It's the same thing with the Creation Trio and, the likes of characters like, Darkrai. Darkrai was able to hurt them, yes, but what did Palkia and Dialga do to him? They erased him from existence and had to bring him back. So again, it's really about the hierarchy. But let's get into the feats of these characters, and let's start off with Arceus, obviously. Arceus, and this is Arceus with all of his plates, by the way. Arceus, by being born, was capable of destroying the multiverse. This is part of Pokemon lore, that in the beginning there was nothing but chaos, a multiverse filled with chaos. In this chaos was born an egg. This egg hatched, and then all the chaos was gone. Arceus, just by being born, destroyed the multiverse. Arceus then went on to create these different universes for different Pokemon to exist. For example, the Ultra Realm, where Solgaleo, Lunala, and Necromazda pretty much come from, or where pretty much all the Ultra Beasts pretty much come from, were all created by Arceus. Then you have Pokemon like the Creation Trio who seeded these realms, or these, different universes. The Creation Trio are Giratina, the oldest, Dialga, and Palkia. Giratina is the embodiment of not only antimatter, but reality as well, as he has to make universes to basically keep this reality balanced, and he pretty much controls the reality of these universes. Basically, he's the second strongest Pokemon, alright? He makes these opposite universes, basically these afterlife for Pokemon to go to. So, essentially just like, yeah, well, they exist here, but here's the thing. You die, you come down here, and I'm just going to absorb you and, be stronger. Basically, it's the Pokemon afterlife. He created his own afterlife, essentially. Then Dialga and Palkia are basically the embodiments of time and space. And the thing is, it's kind of funny how they work, because they exist beyond time and space. Then you have Arceus, who sits at the top of that. Arceus is also incredibly powerful and durable, even being able to beat his own sons and being above literal aspects of life and death. Because if you guys don't know how legendary Pokemon work, these guys are literal embodiments of what they have here. These guys like Yveltal and Xerneas embody life and death the embodiments of life and death. They're literally the physical concepts of life and death. So again, Arceus is just insanely powerful, being able to beat the Creation Trio, possesses every type attack due to his 12 plates, and can even go to the point where he can cancel out and nullify his children's power. So again, that's where Arceus sits on the platform. He literally has a one above all type of position here. But let's talk about Odin, right? Odin, time to time, has been known to... Nah, there ain't no time to time. Odin be out here whooping people like they some kids, alright? This is a dude who's been fighting Celestials since he was in, his Mjolnir-wielding days, alright? This dude was the previous owner of Mjolnir and was fighting Dark Celestials who are above the normal Celestials. Matter of fact, they killed the normal Celestials pretty easily. This is the guy who battled and bodied Thanos. Someone who bodied the Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, and the Annihilators. Are you guys serious here? This is a guy that regularly beats up Silver Surfer. Speaking of Silver Surfer, he kind of he no-diff Surfer on multiple occasions here. You know how Thanos has to put in that work to literally beat down Silver Surfer? Well, guess what? Odin does this with a pimp hand, chokes out Silver Surfer, and tosses him like a fly. That's where Odin pretty much stands on this platform. It is absolutely ridiculous. This guy, by having a casual battle with Zet, wasn't even trying, by the way, shook the fabric of the entire Marvel multiverse like it was nothing. Again, this guy even bodied a destroyer armor enhanced bleeding edge Iron Man. Literally was taking attacks from him and wasn't like even trying to fight him. This guy is also capable of fighting against the likes of Manga. Has actually beaten Manga multiple times to the point where he just got sick of him and sealed him beneath Asgard. Yeah, Odin's a beast. This dude also beat Zerter and Ymir, who are in the same tier as each other. And Zerter is capable of busting a galaxy as pretty much a low-end feat. And Zerter has been able to literally burn stars. This dude even took entire stars out of the pretty much out of space itself, brought them into his realm just to make the Twilight Sword. All right, this guy's energy blast powerful enough to one-shot classic Drax the Destroyer, capable of harming Thanos, Galactus, etc. This dude is an absolute beast. All right, he's got telepathy, matter manipulation. All right, this dude also possesses Gundyr, which is basically a weapon that you can definitely say is superior to Mjolnir and Stormbreaker, even rivals the Twilight Sword, which again can pretty much burn stars, even cut through them like a hot knife through butter. So again, Odin is ridiculous. But again, he doesn't sit on a platform where it's needed to take on Arceus. And here's why. They pretty much possess the same amount of abilities, and you could even say, nah, I'm not even going to say that. I feel like that would be disrespectful to Arceus. Odin just sits on a lower platform than Arceus, you know? Where Odin sits is definitely a powerful platform. He's a Skyfather level being. That's literally like, that's like the next level. Like, so for example, you have characters like Hulk, Thor, and Gladiator, all right? That's what, Hulk, Thor, Gladiator, and Silver Surfer, right? That's Herald tier. Herald level beings capable of fighting against, again, Heralds of Galactus. Again, Silver Surfer is pretty much a scaling point, which puts him at Herald level, okay? So if they're able to fight against Herald level beings and being able to actually win these fights more often than not, this again puts them at Herald level. Then you have Skyfather level, okay? Skyfather level consists of beings like Odin, Hela, Zerter, Ymir, okay? Mangog. Yes, Mangog is Skyfather level, all right? This guy has been making Odin, you know, crap his pants for years. I mean, it's pretty confident for me to say he's Skyfather level. You also have, you know, then you have the next stage after that, which is pretty much Celestial level, all right? You have Celestial level AP. You're capable of fighting against and damaging, if not flat out taking down a Celestial by yourself. Characters like Dormammu have been able to do this. Characters like the Phoenix have been able to do this. Phoenix, Force, Jean Grey, or you have Galactus level, for example. Galactus level, Celestial level, pretty much go hand in hand in my opinion, because again, they're considered to be sitting on the same platform. All right. So honestly, I don't really see too much of a difference here. But if you guys want me to say where does Odin rank here, he's Skyfather level, and he's not really able to compete with the next level, which is Celestial level. Can he damage Celestial? Yes. Has he fought beings that can fight that level and win? Yes. But he's on that platform. By no means is he right there. By no means. And this is not lowballing Odin here. This is me giving him a legit standpoint onto where he really ranks in that cosmic hierarchy. There's even been a list made of where Odin pretty much stands in the cosmic hierarchy. He's actually at the bottom row there, and then you have Eternity and Infinity, and then above that is the Living Tribunal. All right? He sits on the same platform where, you know, he's next to Zet and Zeus, and then above them, I think there was like one other being, probably the in-betweener, I don't know. And then there's Galactus, and then you have Eternity and Infinity, and then the Living Tribunal's at the top. So, just to give you guys a synopsis on what I'm talking about. But yeah, Odin is I have to say, I again, he gets his credit. Multiversal. Like, literally, casually multiversal. Sky Father level being. Alright? The head of his pantheon. But again, there are those characters that can solo entire pantheons. Alright? You might say, oh, quick question. Does Gore the God Butcher count as a pantheon level threat? In my opinion, yes and no. Because again, this guy kind of gets blocked off by certain characters. I mean, Gore can barely handle Thor on a regular. I mean, yeah, sure, he does get more powerful, especially when it comes to, like, King Thor. And then, yes, you could definitely say he's an entire Pantheon level threat. But I mean, like, if we go back to mainstream Gore, then it's just, it is what it is. I would definitely say Gore, if we consider him, like, as a, as a full force, pretty much like a composite force here, then yeah, he's a Pantheon level threat. So we'll leave it at yes for the rest of this video. Gore is a Pantheon level threat. But there are, again, certain Pantheons where he stops at. Like, he's not soloing legendary Pokemon. Like, he's not soloing, the Pokemon Pantheon and by any means. He's not beating the Creation Trio or Arceus and by any means. But anyway, back to the point at hand here. The fact that Odin just sits on a lower level than compared to Arceus. I mean, for example, we're going to take Dialga and Palkia, who are, again, like, way beyond the likes of Skyfather level. Okay? Skyfather level in Pokemonverse, I would have to say, is like Darkrai, Mewtwo, especially Mega Mewtwo, Deoxys, okay? You can even add a Regigigas, Zekrom, and Reshiram. Maybe even the likes of Solgaleo, Yveltal, Xerneas, and Zygarde. They all have their universal type of lore and stuff, them being the bottom to the elements here. And then you have those who sit above it, like Kyurem, Groudon, Kyogre. Then you have Rayquaza, alright, who sits on the same platform as the Creation Trio by feats alone. And then you have Arceus. Alright, that's what you basically have there, okay? You have a couple platforms, then there's another one, and then there's just one that's above, and then there's Arceus at the top here. Not to mention that the Creation Trios simply are aspects of Arceus, so he can do everything they do, and at a much better level. So he can just freeze Odin in time, or pretty much rewind it to the point where Odin is probably a child or back into his weaker days here. But let's say that doesn't work and that spatial regulation doesn't work. He can still freeze Odin's attacks, nullify Odin's powers and abilities, use things like, let's see, what am I thinking of? Dragon Breath, right? Meaning if Odin damages him in any way, shape, or form, he can simply heal himself and return that damage with a multiplier of 10. Meaning that Odin damaged him, he simply returned that damage like it was nothing. Yeah, I don't think that's that's not an argument. Okay, he can also go to the point where he can simply just flat out not be damaged by Odin's attacks here. This is a guy who's nullified the Shadow Force, which is basically a bypass of durability. It's pretty much an attack that's supposed to bypass durability. He should also have antimatter manipulation like his son Giratina, or spatial manipulation and time manipulation like I said earlier, like from Dialga and Palkia. He should also possess every attack including Hyper Beam, Outrage, Hidden Power, Leech Seed, which again would show that Arceus again has every element and every type known to the Pokemon verse in general. He just simply has so much more, not just potential, but so much more versatility than Odin. It can do the same things he can. Even if Odin tries to attack him by telepathy, Arceus has shown telepathic resistance more often than not, being able to repel psychics who scaled to their psychic type Pokemon, who have been able to communicate with other legendary Pokemon and still get flexed out of their minds casually. Okay, Odin's physical attacks won't do anything. Odin's energy manipulation is basically the only thing that he has at this point here. He also has size manipulation, I know, and also has his own version of space-time distortion and all that good stuff. But again here, I don't see it being quite enough to deal with someone like Arceus, who is not only above every concept in the Pokemon universe, from life, death, balance, fire, water, wind, earth, reality, time, space. He's just simply above it and has destroyed it. This guy, literally by just being petty towards his own children, destroyed Dialga and Palkia's realm, which is literally time and space. Alright? This dude can even make energy shields just out of sheer rage. Alright? Like, oh, don't get me wrong. Oh, Odin's a beast. He's a beast on the battlefield. He's a beast. He's a beast anywhere. I mean, even when he's weakened, the dude is still throwing hands with the likes of Jane Foster Thor, smacking around the likes of still giving up good fights against Mangog, still putting up fights against the likes of the Phoenix, Malekith, who had the Necrobait, and so on and so forth. But again here, Arceus is simply sits on a higher level and simply sits on a simple platform. I honestly think Darkrai and Mewtwo would have been a good fight. And don't even say Rayquaza versus Odin in the comment section. No, that video is not getting made. That is a straight up domination matchup right there. Even worse than even this one, because Rayquaza doesn't toy around. But anyway, you guys, Arceus takes this. Simply too much for Odin. Simply packing more. But let me know what you guys think down below. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and share with your friends. And I'll see you guys later for another